Good morning. Everything feels broken. Your plans, your peace, your path. It's all scattered in pieces around you. Maybe you've lost something. Maybe you've lost everything. And right now it feels like you're buried under it. But let me tell you something, broken isn't the end. Broken is the beginning. Every builder starts with a mess. Nobody begins on solid ground. They start with dirt, dust, and debris. So if you're surrounded by chaos, if your heart is heavy and your mind is loud, good, that means you're exactly where rebuilding begins. What feels like rock bottom to you, that might just be your foundation. You're not the only one who's ever stood in a storm. You're not the first to feel like life knocked the wind out of you. But you can be the one who gets back up and builds right there in the middle of it. Broken is not the enemy. Broken is the signal. It's the signal that you're awake. It's the signal that you've got something worth fixing. You're not buried. You're planted. And if you choose to rise, this ground, this broken place will remember your name forever. Look around you. Things might be falling apart. The people you trusted walked away. The plans you counted on didn't hold. The future you pictured, it shattered. And now you're standing in ruins. The question is, what now? Will you sit in the ashes and wait for something or someone to rebuild your life? Or will you get up, even if your legs shake, and pick up the first stone? Because here's the truth. Nothing changes unless you do. The ruins may not be your fault, but rebuilding is your job. That's the choice you're facing right now. Not tomorrow, not next year. Right now, will you rebuild, or will you repeat? Will you use what's left, or just relive what's gone? This moment doesn't need perfection. It needs a decision. Decide that standing still isn't who you are anymore. Decide that even ruins have value when they're in the hands of a builder. Your future isn't waiting on life to fix itself. It's waiting on you to move. Let me be clear. No one is coming. Not a rescue. Not a shortcut. Not a miracle. No one's gonna show up and magically put your life back together. And that's not meant to scare you. It's meant to free you. Because once you understand that it's you, not them, not someday, not somehow, then the power shifts. The future isn't handed out. It's built. And it's built by people who stop waiting and start working. Every strong person you admire, they didn't get there because someone saved them. They got there because they picked up a hammer when all they had was rubble. So if you're still hoping for a perfect time, a perfect answer, a perfect helper, forget it. This is on you. That's the truth. But it's also the gift. Because if no one's coming, that means you're already here. And you're more than enough to begin. You keep waiting for things to calm down, for life to make sense again, for the noise to stop, the pressure to ease, the sky to clear. But storms don't work on your schedule. And if you keep waiting for perfect weather, you'll miss your whole life standing still. Growth doesn't happen when things are easy. Growth happens when it's hard. You don't become strong because the wind is gentle. You become strong because you built in the wind. Real builders don't wait for the storm to pass. They learn to build in the rain. Because if you can learn to move while it hurts, if you can build while your hands are shaking, then nothing can stop you when the sun finally shines. Comfort is a trap. It makes you believe you have time. But storms are part of the story. They shake what's weak. They expose what's fake. And they prepare you to create something that can last. Don't waste another day hoping it'll feel easier. Start building anyway. Not after the storm, during it. That's how you know it's real. You've been told to wait until you're ready. Until you're sure. Until everything makes sense. That's the lie. That's the trap. Clarity doesn't come before you move. It shows up because you moved. Life rewards action, not hesitation. But we convince ourselves that we need more time, more signs, more answers. The truth is we're afraid. We're afraid to make the wrong choice. We're afraid to fall flat. But standing still isn't safe. It's slow failure. You don't need more information. You need movement. Every builder learns as they go. Every path clears with each step. You find your strength after you start. You understand the blueprint after you pick up the tools. The people who move forward in life aren't the ones who know the most. They're the ones who do the most. Waiting to feel ready is just a polite way of saying you're afraid to begin. But what if you started anyway? What if you stopped looking for signs and became one? You want clarity. Show up. Take the first step. Show yourself what's possible. Not when you feel ready, but now. Perfect is a lie. It's a mask your fear wears to look smart. You tell yourself you're just preparing, just thinking it through, just being careful. But what you're really doing is hiding. You're hiding behind a standard that no one ever reaches. You think if the timing, the tools, the feelings, the conditions were just right, then you'd start. But perfect doesn't come. And while you're waiting for it, Life is passing by. Dreams are being built, not by perfect people, but by willing people. Willing to move while it's messy. Willing to try without a guarantee. Willing to look foolish. If you keep chasing perfect, you'll miss real. You'll miss progress. And you'll watch someone with half your talent, and none of your hesitation pass you by. The people who make a difference aren't the ones who waited. They're the ones who worked. Not perfectly, but faithfully. Done beats perfect every time. So stop measuring the wind. Stop adjusting the sails for a storm that may never hit. Pick up the hammer. Lay the brick. Move. It's broken. Good. That means you finally see it. The lies. The weight. The things that never really worked. The life you were pretending to love. The parts of you that were settling. The break didn't destroy you. It exposed the truth. And now you get to decide. You can keep staring at the pieces, or start building something real. It's shattered. Perfect. Now you know exactly what needs to be replaced. The illusion is gone. The guesswork is over. Broken doesn't mean finished. It means you've been handed a new chance to build better. You're not stuck. You're aware. You're not lost. You're ready. Pain doesn't come to stop you. It comes to wake you up. And now that you're awake, it's time to stop hoping for rescue, and start becoming the reason things change. So say it with me. It's broken. Good. Now build. It's shattered. Good. Now create. Because this is the part where the victim becomes the builder. Most people don't stay down because they're weak. They stay down because it's what they know. It's not the pain that keeps them stuck. It's the comfort inside the pain. Familiar hurt. Predictable struggle. A routine of misery that feels safer than the unknown. You say you want change, but every time it knocks, you hide behind your history. You've been down so long that standing up feels like a threat. Progress feels foreign. Peace feels unfamiliar. Success feels like a setup, so you sabotage it. Not because you don't want it, but because you don't recognize it. You've learned how to survive in chaos, but not how to live in clarity. And the scariest part of healing, it's realizing you're not fighting anything outside you. It's all happening within. The war isn't against failure. It's against the part of you that's addicted to what you've always known. But if you want different, you have to do different. And that means stepping into spaces that don't feel comfortable, but do feel right. The goal isn't to feel strong. The goal is to stop being owned by what's familiar. You're not stuck because you're incapable. You're stuck because you've mistaken your cage for your home. Break the pattern. Climb anyway. There's a difference between healing and hiding behind your hurt. Some people say they're healing, but all they're doing is rehearsing the pain, playing it on loop, talking about the past, reliving the wound, staying in the story. But healing isn't loud. Healing is quiet. It's uncomfortable. It's slow. It's showing up for yourself when no one's watching. It's making new choices, not just posting the same pain with a different caption. You can't build a future if you're always bleeding on the blueprint. The pain is real. But if you don't deal with it, you'll start calling the wound a personality. So here's the real question. Are you healing, or are you just hurting loudly? Because real healing means action. Real healing means letting go of the attention pain gave you. Real healing means closing the chapter, not decorating the pages. Blaming feels good for a while. It's easy to point the finger at your past, at your parents, at the world. It makes you feel like the victim. It gives you permission to stay the same. But blaming won't change your life. Only building will. And building is hard. Building means taking responsibility for a mess you didn't create, but refusing to let it define you. It means facing the mirror, instead of finding someone else to blame. You don't get stronger by shifting the weight to others. You get stronger by lifting it yourself. Every time you blame, you give your power away. Every time you build, you take it back. So ask yourself this. Are you building, or just blaming? One keeps you stuck. The other sets you free. Pain is a weight. You can let it crush you, or you can let it shape you. The same weight that breaks your back can also build your strength. It's not about the pain, it's about what you do with it. Some people carry pain like a badge, others like a chain. But the ones who rise, they use it like a tool. They let the hurt teach them, sharpen them, build them. You're not broken. You're being rebuilt. You're not lost. You're being rerouted. The pain isn't the end. It's the beginning of something stronger, something real. So if you're hurting, good. Now lift. If it's heavy, good. that means it's worth carrying. And if it's breaking you, maybe it's just breaking what doesn't belong. Let it lift you. Let it make you. Let it remind you. You're still here, still fighting, still building. You don't build a skyscraper by winging it. You don't grab a handful of bricks, toss them around, and hope it becomes something solid. You need a blueprint, a plan, a structure, and the same is true for your life. If you're trying to build a future with no direction, no clarity, and no purpose, you're just stuck in chaos. A skyscraper needs deep foundations and calculated steps. So do you? Every dream you say you want, it needs mental architecture, it needs focus, it needs structure. Without it, all you're building is frustration. Some people keep trying to rise without knowing what they're rising toward, and then they wonder why everything collapses. Let me tell you something. If your mind is disorganized, your results will be too. If your priorities shift with every mood, your life will crack under pressure. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being prepared. You don't need to have all the answers, but you better have a solid starting point. What are you building? Why does it matter? Where are the weak spots? That's mental architecture. That's what holds everything up when things get heavy. If you keep guessing, you'll keep falling. It's time to build with intention, not just effort. It's easy to say you want more, harder to define what more actually means. Survival isn't vision, comfort isn't vision. Vision is the blueprint for what you're becoming. It's the structure for your actions, your habits, your grind. If you don't know what you're building, you'll chase everything and finish nothing. So stop, slow down, ask yourself, what do I really want to build? Not what they expect, not what sounds impressive, what feels real, what sets your soul on fire. A legacy, a new path for your family, a life that reflects your values, not your fears. You can't build something powerful if your vision is vague. The clearer the picture, the stronger the structure. Vision doesn't come from noise, it comes from honesty. What do you want? Not just for today, but for the life you're trying to leave behind. Get clear, get serious, then build. No one else is going to build your life for you. Not your family, not your friends, not the world. This is your foundation, and no one's going to pour the concrete but you. You can blame your past, you can curse the world, you can point fingers all day, but the truth? Nothing moves until you do. This isn't about fault, it's about responsibility. There's a difference. It might not be your fault that things fell apart, but it is your job to rebuild. No one's coming with the instructions. No one's handing you tools. You are the builder. You are the planner. You are the one who decides what happens next. If you wait for someone else to fix it, you'll wait your whole life. But if you take ownership now, even of the mess, you take back your power. Don't outsource your future. Build it. You want results fast. We all do. But builders don't rush. Builders trust the process. You can't pour the concrete and expect a penthouse in a week. If you want something solid, you've got to give it time, day after day, layer after layer. It's not about going fast, it's about going deep. That's how real structures last. Most people quit because they don't see quick results, but builders, they know how to delay the reward. They know that the win isn't always visible, but the work is still working. You might not see the payoff right now, but that brick you laid today, that decision you made, that habit you held onto, it matters. Real growth is quiet, it doesn't scream, it stacks. So ask yourself, can you delay the reward long enough to trust the build? Because the only people who see the top are the ones who stayed long enough to finish the foundation. Everything starts small, one decision, one move, one brick. That's how it works. Not all at once, not overnight. One thought, one action, one brick, again, and again, and again. That's how you build anything worth standing in. That's how the future is built. Brick by brick, day by day. You don't need to lay them all today. You just need to lay one. You can have the best tools, the strongest vision, the highest ambition, but if there are termites in the wood, your mansion won't stand. It'll look strong from the outside, but inside, it's being eaten alive. And that's how many people live, trying to build something great, while letting silent destroyers live rent-free in their foundation. Bad habits, negative people, distractions that seem harmless, until they rot everything from within. It's not the big obvious blows that collapse your life. It's the small compromises you let slide. The phone you can't put down, the friend who always drains you, the thoughts that whisper you're not enough. Those are the termites. They hide in your schedule, your conversations, your choices, and by the time you notice them, the damage is deep. That's why awareness is survival. You've got to inspect what you're building with. Check every beam, every board, every influence, because what you allow in the foundation shows up in the structure. This isn't just about what you do, it's about what you tolerate. If something is quietly weakening your build, it's got to go. Don't wait until it collapses. Catch the rot early, because you're not building a shack, you're building a future, and your future needs clean, solid wood. Look around. Who's in your circle? Not everyone you share time with is helping you rise. Some of them, they're quietly tearing down what you're trying to build, with their doubt, their drama, their distraction. They don't swing hammers, they pull bricks. They don't believe in your build, but they'll still stick around to watch it. And worse, they'll pretend they're helping. That's the danger. It's not just the loud haters you need to worry about. It's the quiet anchors, the ones who don't cheer you, don't challenge you, don't push you. They just sit there close enough to influence, far enough to never build. Builders know something most people ignore. Your environment is not neutral. It's either shaping you forward or pulling you back. That means you have to audit your circle, like your future depends on it. Because it does. Ask yourself, who challenges me to be better? Who helps me stay focused? Who's honest when I slip? And then ask, who always brings the same story, the same complaints, the same reasons why life just is what it is? That person might be tearing you down, without even meaning to. This isn't about hate, it's about protection. Your dream is under construction. Don't let someone who stopped building years ago tell you how to build. Let me make this simple. If something is destroying your build, cut it. If someone is slowing you down, replace it. If a part of your life is rotting from the inside, rebuild it. Stop making it complicated. Stop overthinking the process. This isn't about feelings, it's about the future. You can't grow if you keep holding on to what's killing you. And you don't need a dramatic speech to walk away from something toxic. You just need the guts to say, this doesn't belong in the life I'm building. That's it. Cut the noise. Replace the habits. Rebuild the foundation, piece by piece, day by day. Because guess what? You don't get stronger by keeping what's weak. You don't rise by staying around what drags you down. You get stronger by choosing better, even when it's hard. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable at first, but comfort never built anything worth living in. So stop trying to fix what needs to be removed. Start clearing space for what deserves to grow. If your head is full of everyone else's voice, you'll never hear your own. Their opinions, their doubts, their fears, their stories, they get loud, and if you're not careful, they'll drown out the one voice that matters most, yours. That's why silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. Step away from the noise. Shut off the distractions. Tune out the static. Because clarity doesn't scream, it whispers, and you can't build anything meaningful if you're always reacting to everyone else. Find stillness. That's where your blueprint lives. Inspiration feels amazing. It gives you chills. It lights you up. It makes you believe, for a moment, that anything is possible. But here's the raw truth. If all you ever do is chase that feeling, you'll never build a damn thing. Too many people live on a loop of motivational videos, powerful quotes, and emotional highs, but they never move. They feel everything, and do nothing. They talk big but act small, because inspiration without action is just noise. It's emotional sugar. It gives you a rush, but it doesn't last. Builders don't wait to feel like they don't depend on hype. They show up tired, uncertain, unmotivated, and they lay the brick anyway, because they understand something most people don't. Buildings don't rise on feelings, they rise on work. Inspiration is not the blueprint, it's not the cement, it's not the tool, it's the spark. But if you don't use it to start building, it burns out, and you're right back where you were, stuck, waiting for the next hit, the next video, the next speech to get you fired up again. You don't need more inspiration, you need more action, more showing up, more doing. You're not going to think your way into the life you want, you're going to build it, and that starts the moment you stop chasing feelings and start laying bricks. There are no shortcuts in real construction. You don't get to skip steps, you don't get to throw random materials together and hope it turns into a house. It's one brick, then another, and that's how everything worth having is built, brick by brick. Success is not built in a weekend. Growth isn't a leap, it's not some magical breakthrough moment. It's daily grind, quiet effort, small steps repeated without applause. You want a strong life, a powerful mind, a future that holds. Then stop looking for the fast track and start laying bricks. One workout, one hard conversation, one early morning, one journal entry, one decision to show up when it's hard.
That's what builders do. They don't get overwhelmed by the size of the dream. They get focused on the next step, the next layer, because they know this a brick alone is nothing, but stacked daily, with purpose, with precision, with grit. That's how mountains move. It's not flashy, it's not loud, but it's real, and it lasts. So stop staring at the empty lot, wishing it would turn into a mansion. Pick up a brick, lay it, then do it again tomorrow. That's how it's done. That's the process, brick by brick. Want to know the difference between dreamers and builders? Discipline. It's the blueprint. It's what turns vision into reality. Not talent, not luck, not inspiration. Discipline. Small wins, stacked with intention. Clear steps that don't change with your mood. And no excuses. None. You don't need to crush it every day. You just need to show up and take the next step. Maybe it's a 10-minute workout. Maybe it's turning off your phone when it's time to work. Maybe it's saying no to one thing that drains you. That's how it begins. You make a plan, you break it down, and then you execute every single day. Not when it's easy, not when you feel motivated, but always. That's how builders operate. It's not about massive leaps, it's about doing the small things, especially when nobody's watching, especially when it's boring, especially when you'd rather do anything else. That's what separates people who talk from people who rise. Discipline. It's your blueprint. It keeps you focused. It keeps you honest, and it keeps you building, brick by brick. There's no magic moment, no final level, where suddenly gets easy. This game is won through repetition, through showing up, through doing the hard thing, not once but every day, day by day, again and again. That's the mindset. You build the life you want the same way you'd build anything real, slowly, steadily, intentionally, one habit, one decision, one effort at a time, and then, you do it again, and again, brick by brick, day by day. That's how builders win. Most people stare at the wreckage of their life, like it's a grave, like it's the end. But here's the truth. The wreckage is your resource, if you're willing to use it. Broken dreams, burned bridges, shattered plans. That's raw material. That's framing wood. That's steel. That's fuel. You think failure means it's over. It doesn't. It means you've got proof of effort, proof of risk, proof that you tried. That's more than most. And now you've got what most never touch. Real data, real scars, real understanding. The pain, use it. The lessons, build with them.
Your collapse isn't your curse, it's your construction site. This moment, the one you think disqualified you, is the exact place your real story begins. Nothing is stronger than a person who's been broken and still decides to rebuild, not blindly, not naively, but intentionally, smarter, sharper, stronger. You can't undo the past, but you can design what happens next. So gather the scraps, pick up the pieces, learn from every splinter, then build something from it that scares even the version of you that failed. Your life isn't over, it's under construction. Everyone's had a breakdown moment, the kind that rips the floor out from under you, the job loss, the betrayal, the identity crisis. And in that moment, it feels like death, like your story just hit a full stop. But that breakdown, it isn't a dead end, it's a blueprint. Pain is a professor. It doesn't lie, it teaches. The question is, are you learning, or just complaining? Look around you. How many legendary stories were born from collapse? People who hit bottom and found purpose, who lost everything and found clarity, who were crushed and became unshakable. Breakdowns strip away what's fake. They burn off what was never built to last, and what's left, the truth, the real material, the exposed foundation that you can actually build from. You don't need to avoid the pain. You need to mine it, map it, let it sketch out the new structure. Because now, you know what doesn't work. Now you know who you are. When everything's stripped away, this isn't where your story ends. It's where the real construction starts. So stop cursing the fall. Start drawing your blueprint. Everyone's afraid of rock bottom. We treat it like a warning sign, a place of failure. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if rock bottom isn't the end? What if it's just the ground floor? Think about it. The strongest buildings don't rise from comfort. They rise from depth, from solid foundation, and rock bottom. That's where nothing is left but truth. No more pretending, no more excuses, just raw potential, and the decision to do something with it. This disaster might be your design phase. This wreck might be the excavation needed to clear the space for something stronger. You've got two options at the bottom: sit in the rubble, or start building. And here's the kicker: you don't have to feel ready. You don't have to know the full plan. You just have to start. One brick, one action, one decision that says, I'm not done. People spend years trying to avoid falling, but the ones who rise, they're the ones who fall, and build anyway. So the next time life drags you to the bottom, ask yourself this: is this the end of my story, or the start of my legacy? Because rock bottom isn't a grave, it's the ground floor. You think this is just about today, about your grind, your routine, your quiet effort. It's not. You're not just building for this moment, you're building for forever. Every choice you make, every habit you shape, every brick you lay, ripples. It stretches beyond the present, beyond even your lifetime. You're creating something others will stand on, something they'll inherit, even if they never see you build it. This isn't just about your career, or your fitness, or your bank account. It's about your children, your community, the people watching you who will never tell you they are, your future self, 10 years from now, who will either thank you or curse your shortcuts. Legacy isn't built in grand gestures, it's laid in the quiet, in the consistency, in the sweat nobody sees, and the sacrifices no one applauds. And one day, when it all stands tall, they'll realize you were building for them too. So stop thinking small, stop thinking now. You are not just surviving this season, you are building eternity into every brick. This isn't just about you, it's about what comes after you. It might not look like much. Another early morning, another decision to stay disciplined, another moment of choosing growth over comfort. But this isn't just bricklaying, this is history writing. You're not stacking bricks, you're writing the legacy your family will live in. The choices you make now will echo. The strength you show today will shape the strength in someone else tomorrow. Every small act of effort is a chapter. Every sacrifice is a sentence. Every time you refuse to quit, you carve your initials into the future. They may not understand what you're doing now. They may not see the value in the struggle. But one day, when they're standing inside the house that your discipline built, they'll know. Don't let the simplicity fool you. Don't let the quietness make you question the impact. You're not just building, you're becoming. They don't see the sacrifices, the late nights, the discipline, the self-control, the internal battles you fight in silence. And that's okay, because you're not doing this for recognition, you're doing it for impact. You're building something they'll one day live inside, a standard, a foundation, a way of thinking, a legacy that outlives you. They may not understand now, they may not appreciate the grind, but one day, when the storm hits their life, and they don't collapse, they'll realize they're standing on what you built. This is what builders do. They think beyond the moment, they see beyond themselves, they sacrifice now, so others don't have to later. You are building a future someone else will walk through like it was always there, and when they do, they'll never know how much it cost you, but you'll know, and that's enough. What will be left standing, because you didn't quit? It's broken. Good. Now build. The dream shattered. The plan failed. The people left. Good. Now build. Because this isn't the end. It's the opening scene of your rise. Builders don't wait for perfect. They shape it from rubble. Every crack in your life is a place for strength to grow through. You're not here to admire the wreckage. You're here to repurpose it. Yes, it's broken, but you're still breathing. That means it's not over. That means there's still time to build something no one saw coming. Say it to yourself. It's broken. Good. Now build. It hurts. Good. Now move. Pain isn't the problem. Paralysis is. You think healing comes from waiting. No. Healing comes from movement, from action, from showing up again and again, even when your soul screams. Use the hurt, not as an excuse, but as a hammer. Let every ache be the fuel that keeps you laying bricks when most would quit. It's supposed to hurt. That's how you know it's real. That's how you know it matters. So don't sit in it. Don't drown in it. Stand up. Take one step, then another. Movement is how you rise. Movement is how you heal. Movement is how you build. It hurts. Good. Now move. You don't need more time. You don't need more clarity. You don't need everything to be perfect. You need one thing to begin. Start where you are, not where you wish you were, not where it used to be. Right here, right now, with what you've got. You're tired. Build anyway. You're scared. Build anyway. You feel behind? Build anyway. Every masterpiece began as a mess. Every legend started with nothing but hands and hunger. No more waiting. No more excuses. You have enough to lay the first brick. This is your moment. This is your story. This is your build. Start where you are. Use what you have. Build anyway.